All right, Tumblr official. Good morning. What's up? Saturday, Sunday. I mean, I'm still kind of waking myself up, but I I woke up around 7 a.m. Maybe a little bit before. I was kind of like in and out of sleep, but as it was getting light out, and I kind of woke up last night a few times. Again, the usual restroom. Um, it's really the melatonin. It makes me have to go to the restroom. Uh, so that's not good. Um, so I'm not really. It makes it so I can't really fully sleep through the night, and then I just kind of turn something on to watch once I'm up after that. So it was around 1:30 or so when I was up. My mom was still awake. Uh, but I went back to sleep. I was watching what is it? Steve 1989, 1986. I don't know. He does these MRE ration. Um, he cooks them like with the little like pouches and then eats them. Uh, unless they're like really too old or too like messed up. Like some of them are from like the 90s. Some of them are from like the 20 teens. Um, some of them are really old from like 1950 something, 1940 something. So it's kind of cool to see how they've evolved. And he gets them either he purchases them or gets them sent to him by other people. It sounds like some of them cost a lot of money, and he has a lot of different ones. I think his recent video is the Russian prison ration. I didn't really eat that. It's like a prisoner ration. Um, the Japanese one from the 19, I think it's from like 19, sorry, 19, from like 2016. That one seemed really good. And there's one like pizza slice one that he says is really popular. And some of them seem just disgusting. The halal one with like lamb, I don't remember what it was called. It's like sag chole or something like that. Like it seemed really good. It had like spinach, lamb, garlic, all kinds of stuff. Like it's kind of cool. It's kind of like instant. I feel like a lot of I'm not 100% sure about this, but I can kind of see the overlap with a lot of instant foods. That it probably came from these military ration types of technologies, and you know a lot of the preserving and the instant easy heating, and like you see it a lot with like instant Japanese food, like the little curry pouches. It's kind of the same similar idea. um and some of the like instant foods and just like the way we heat them up and the way that they're packaged and kind of just generally like that. But I think, when you eat instant food, a lot of the time you can tell like there's a difference between like organic canned and kind of like maybe freeze dried or frozen instant foods versus like the really low quality stuff that's like some of these American brand just crap food. Like I don't know, I don't like crapping on brands, but Kraft, Oscar Mayer, stuff like that, where it's like the quality is, it's a big name brand, but it's like I don't know if this is like really healthy for me compared to like Annie's or Amy's and Milton's and that kind of stuff, like those kind of organic brands. But sometimes the organic foods do taste a little strange, like they're just a little like there's not enough salt, there's not enough sugar, like they just don't taste as like savory and delicious. But I kind of like stuff where people are cooking, and I've kind of found that that kind of relaxes me into sleeping. So I was watching that. There's this other like Korean channel or Korean lady that makes these like really fancy little desserts. They're really beautiful looking. like these jello strawberry pies and stuff, and like it's kind of cool. Like there's not a lot of talking sometimes. um there's this one, I think is like a Russian lady who does this like canning of like different kind of like beef stews and stuff like that. I like watching that kind of stuff. Like it's kind of like the kind of thing that like I don't really care if I like fall asleep because it's not like so entertaining that I like need to see the end, but it's like a little bit of ideas of like food to cook and stuff. Like I'm not all that like creative with foods, I don't think. Um but yeah, when I wake up in the middle of the night, I kind of have some little go-tos. Also that Craigslist hunter guy, but sometimes I don't like watching the same thing all the time. So those cooking, any kind of, not any kind of cooking, like I don't like the ones where they're like talking so much that you have to like pay so much attention. I like it when they're like, you know it's got like maybe a little ASMR quality to it with the like ripping open the packaging and like stirring stuff and all that, like um because I do kind of just start falling asleep, like, but it's cool, like I kind of like it. And it just puts me back to sleep after a little while. I'll watch like a couple episodes. His are like 15 minutes or so. Most of the time, maybe 20 minutes. Some of them are like 45 minutes for like some bigger items or more interesting historical types of items. But it's just interesting to think about, just that people are using these in like military trainings or like out in the field or while they're actually actively battling, and they're like carrying this stuff around, and this is some of the options of stuff that people have to eat around the world. He gets different ones from around the world, so it's kind of cool. There's a Lithuanian one. He has all kinds, like Korean, Italian, um, and they're just really cool videos. It's not like too like overly stimulating, so I feel like I slept enough. um I found some free credit cards, not credit cards, like credit building cards that are out. There's this one like AI one that I want to try. I'm gonna get back to like reviewing a few of those every now and then. I just don't want to get like I don't learn about them too much. It's just kind of like when I need something, that's like beneficial and content beneficial, it's like okay, might as well, as long as it's free. I don't want anything where I have to pay monthly, like that extra. It was called Extra credit card. The credit card by Extra. It was basically like a debit card, and they charged you like eight. I think it was like $8.99 or $9.99 a month to keep it open. So I closed that after maybe about a year. But it did raise my credit score in the beginning. Then I didn't see it doing anything else, and then Self.Inc. That card did raise my credit score after a while, so I might open another CD account on that. Um, and then I really don't have a lot of credit cards. I have two. Um, One of them I need to actually get better with. Um, and then the other one is like it's only got like a $200 limit, so there's really not the option to get too far into debt with it. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of just working on my credit score for the end of the year. I mean, it takes a while. Um, then I got student loan payments due end of the month, which it's pretty much end of the month. I mean, I'm probably gonna send it. I don't know if I'm gonna send it late because it's the weekend still, so it's kind of like a little complicated of a timeline, but um, I don't know how I feel about it. Um, I'll probably just pay it off, like you know. But right now, that's not. really, I'm kind of focused on just getting as much cash as I can over the weekend so I don't have to spend a lot of the week delivering. Um so I got one more day of deliveries today. Yesterday went okay, just I kind of ran out of steam. But I was kind of out from like 10 to 3. Um I kind of zigzag my way through town up towards like Hawthorne Airport area, kind of not too far from like the Forum. So it takes me about 40 or so minutes to get up there cuz I'm not going just like straight shot. I'm kind of going over to some streets and some like shopping regions, but I think technically that's not a good time to start anymore. I don't think I'm going to start at like 10:30 anymore. I think what I'm going to do is just wait. I'm going to start waiting it out till I get an order. So today, I think near 11:15 or 11:30 a.m., I'm just going to turn on my app from home and then wait from home instead of driving all over the city because I kind of drove like 45 minutes and wasted gas driving. But basically, the way I do it is I drive to areas that I know I always get orders. And so I try to drive out there, be there by like almost 11 o'clock, and then start getting orders in the faraway areas. And then try to, like, once I start getting tired, try to like work my way back towards my house. They have like an option to put it on like pit stop, so it's like if I know I have like an order that I'm doing like at the moment, if I'm like going from like some spicy chicken place and delivering it to somebody's apartment, I can be like, okay, like pit stop after this delivery's finished. And so then basically it stops like automatically showing me options of orders until I resume, going back online. And so that's yeah, I'm kind of like making little strategies. Um it works out. It's just, I think I'm kind of pushing, hoping that I'll get orders around 10 cuz that's my preferred time. It's my preferred time to be out earlier and get done earlier. But the issue is that, realistically there are, you know, times where people are actually eating and actually ordering. Like people order around 11 something or try to get their food delivered close to 11, um because that's like near a meal time or near like a late brunch or early lunch. But 10 o'clock is kind of like a weird time because a lot of people might not really be trying to eat. That's not really like a peak hour of like when most people are trying to eat food. um and I have a weird schedule, so it's kind of like, to me it feels a little weird that people don't eat more around 10 or 11 because I'm used to getting up so early, having my coffee, tea, whatever, and then eating around 8 a.m. or so. And then usually I do need a snack around like 10 or 11 because I'm like, I've been up all freaking day. By the time it's like 10 or 11, I've usually been up for like 4 or 5 hours or so. And so usually for me, I like to eat a little bit before so that once it's like noon or 1 and time for lunch, I'm not like starving. And sometimes I eat lunch later around 1 because sometimes I don't really end up actually eating breakfast till like 9. Because if I'm cooking at like 8:30, like I'll probably do today, I'll probably be cooking like a little bit before 9. I'm gonna just make like a quick, simple. I guess I'll make an omelet real quick this morning. Um, the food I ate yesterday was not. It was not good for me. I ate egg rolls for breakfast, those frozen ones with some eggs. I had some snacks that I brought with me. I brought a boiled egg. I brought a perfect bar. I had some leftover cucumber slices from the day before, the spears that I had made. I ate like one of those. It didn't go down that easy, so I didn't eat the rest of them. Like it just it kind of felt like a little stuck in my throat. Like it's kind of like a weird, uh, like I think it just wasn't as fresh anymore. So my body was just kind of like trying to like not, like not like keep this out of you, but I forced myself to kind of eat the piece that I had started eating. Um, it didn't taste weird. I mean, it's like a day old out of the fridge, in a Ziploc. So it's like I don't think it had been like in any like major heat, but it's probably about more than 24 hours out of the fridge. So I feel like carrots, some vegetables kind of stay, the ones that aren't like so moisture, like outward moisture, like because once you cut into something, like if it's like a tomato or something, you can't really keep things out like that. Like any kind of fruit and vegetables like that, like I'd say 24 hours is probably about the limit with most things. And it wasn't like newly purchased, like it's probably about a week old already. So like had been in the fridge for like since last weekend. So it was a little less than a week old already. So I don't know. Like, but yeah, bringing snacks helps. There was a lady who was at one of the gas stations who offered to pump my gas. So I let her pump the gas, um, in exchange for the rest of my snacks. So I had another perfect bar and I think a banana. So I gave her that. And she pumped the gas for me. And that was basically it. Like, um, but by the time I got back, I was pretty tired. I had some chili cheese dogs that were, I don't know what brand. They're like off-brand chicken hot dogs, and I think that messed up my stomach. Like that was not a good idea. Whenever I eat like cheap, crappy meat, it just doesn't do well for me. So eating those, I think this morning was kind of rough because of that. And then for dinner, I mean, I ate so late because I got back around. I was eating around like 3, then I kind of knocked out for a little bit. I'd expected to kind of like, you know, study. I'm just having so much trouble focusing because I'm screwing up my schedule. Like usually Saturdays, like Friday nights to Saturday evening, I'm usually not busy at all. But Friday night, I stayed a little busy. And then Saturday night, I tried to be a little bit busy, but it just didn't work out. I just wasn't able to kind of get it together. Um, and then, yeah, so I'm hoping to get out of the house some this week and maybe study outside of the house. I just think even if I do study like 2 hours, maybe 3 hours or something like that, it's going to be way more focused than when I'm at home. And same with like my workouts, it's just easier to do them at the gym. Like it's hard to like get out and go to places to go do the stuff I have to do. It can be a little difficult, but it's like most of these types of things don't really take more than like an hour or so of the day. Like if I'm focused, I can get things done. And if I'm home, I just like I've definitely proven that I'm not gonna get anything done. And plus, it was the weekend. I didn't really want to do much. I was already tired because I'd already gotten a little sick earlier in the week, and like I had a little illness scare. It wasn't like a big deal. I thought I was getting sick, um, and I didn't end up getting sick at least, so that wasn't a big deal. But I don't know. Um, I don't know. I'm just trying to keep my energy going strong. But I'm gonna eat an omelet this morning, uh, so that I can kind of get something filling in my stomach. Just make some like buttered toast. Um, we don't have a toaster, so I just stick things in the oven. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much what I'm gonna get up to today. And once I finish breakfast, I'll work on some websites and study some. I did not hit all the marks of what I wanted to do yesterday. Um, I think I just needed to rest. I know myself, I can't really power through the weekends the way I want to. Like in my head, I'm like, yeah, I want to do this. But then there's another part of me that's like, you definitely need a break. Like by Fridays, I always know that I need a break. Um, and like Fridays, I'm already out of steam as it is, and so to try to push all Friday like I did, and then try to do it again on Saturday, like I just wasn't able. Um, it's just really hard for me to focus. Like I can't like force myself to focus on things, and I still have a little bit of time. Like it's kind of like something that I'm like, this exam I'm taking, I don't have to finish it today or whatever. Like I wanted to take the exam today, but I don't have to finish it today, so I might wait till Tuesday. Um because it doesn't make sense to try to do it today because I haven't studied even half as much as I wanted to. Um but yeah, I've been driving around listening to Darknet Diaries podcast on Spotify. I like that. It's not, I don't know, it's kind of like I'm not really into like stories where people are like going to jail and all that kind of stuff, but it's like and crimes and like violent crimes and all that. But I do like learning about, I find it slightly entertaining, like stuff about like video game hacks and all this kind of like software and hardware that came out with like Dreamcast and Sega Genesis and all these kind of like old systems. Like there was an episode about that, but it just sucks. Like the people that get in trouble, it's like some of the stories are like, yeah, I remember some of this stuff as a kid, like with friends, like they had the game genie or whatever, like all these types of things. And then it's like you go back and it's like, oh, like somebody got in trouble for this, It's like, dang, that's kind of harsh. I never knew like the backstory because I mean, like that was kind of like early hacking, like hardware hacking and stuff. Well, software too, but like it was like back in the day where like the video game systems were kind of like a computer in itself. Like it was kind of like useful for that. Like you weren't doing word processing and like editing and stuff like that, but it's like it had like computer qualities to it. I mean, technically, video games are just computers, anyways, but um, they're just programmed to do like a certain thing. But um, yeah, it's just like it's just interesting because I like hearing people talk about techie stuff, so I find it fun, but it's not like the happiest because it's like all these people got into some kind of trouble or had to deal with some kind of other countries' legal issues or some other kind of thing. But the stories up until that point are usually pretty interesting, like all the background of it, because a lot of it is stuff that I've like heard about or seen or know about, but I never knew that like who was actually the one who was in charge of like making it or whatever, um or going and making these certain like websites and stuff like that. Like you never really hear like, oh, this person is detained or got like arrested and imprisoned and fined like $10 million. Like there's stories like that, like 10 million, $25 million, just so that they can make like an example of certain people who did things like that. And it's like, come on, man. Like, because meanwhile, it's like these products were on the market and everybody's buying it, or it's online and everybody's using these websites. And it's like, you know, I get it to some extent, but then there's another part of me that's like, hey, it's innovation. That's how the game works. And technology, like, you know, um, there are weird laws though. Like, I didn't know that there were so many weird laws. Um, like, they don't really tell. I mean, I think most people aren't like too savvy to like the laws that have to do with like technology and stuff. Like, I think most people know, you shouldn't be on the dark web. Most people know you you shouldn't be doing illegal stuff online. Like uploading stuff is illegal to like share copyrighted stuff and all that. Like you can't really do that, and especially to be making a profit off of it. That's not legal, but it's also like, um, I mean, people do it all the time. So it's like, I don't know. You never really hear like, there used to be that website justin.tv where you could just watch live stream. It would be like live stream sports, even if it was like stuff that happened like it could be like 1980s live. Uh, the the broadcast was a live stream of like old VHS tapes of 1980s like soccer World Cup, events, you know, or just like people. There was a lot of like people gaming on there. It was kind of similar to how people are on Twitch, but it was like it was like the quality was a little, it wasn't there. um and the ones I watched were mostly just like when people live streamed Big Bang Theory, and it would just be like episode after episode after episode. So you just come in wherever it was. Like there would be a lot of live streams of like shows. Like I know Star Trek was always on there, and like there were some shows that were kind of like you could just sit and binge watch it um, for free, but you didn't have control to choose like what episode you started at or anything. It was just live streamed, and so you'd have to watch the live stream, and whatever was playing was what was playing. So I can't remember if you could pause it or like go back. I can't remember, but you couldn't go forward. Like you couldn't choose anything for sure. Then there were people that would just live stream themselves, like studying or sleeping or dirt biking or driving around or whatever. Like, so you could just tune into whatever was already being broadcasted on there. And some of it was like copyrighted live sports. Like, if there was like a big UFC match or some big match going on, poker and that kind of stuff, like, you could just tune into it. So there's always sites like that that kind of pop up, and then like they'll be around for years, and then people take them down. That's one of them. fmovies.to. It's been having issues lately because that's where I was watching most of my pirated movies. Like Oppenheimer was on there. I think Barbie was on there. I can't remember. It wasn't. None of it was like great quality yet because they were pretty new when I was watching. I think the last one I tried to watch was Oppenheimer. But it was just long and like kind of not the most like let's sit at home and watch this kind of thing. Like it was very like wordy, so it was kind of hard for me to be like into it. I kind of wanted like a little more action. I don't know if there's more action later on in the movie, but I kind of wanted it to be like not like so action packed that it's just like what is the storyline? Because with action, a lot of times I get lost in the storyline, but just like a little bit, like what is going on. Um, but yeah, well, yeah. All right, it's like 8:39. I'm gonna get into. I gotta cook some breakfast, then kind of get on with my morning and get some stuff done before I gotta go driving around town. We'll see how it works starting from home today instead of, starting from driving all over trying to get orders. I think starting from home is the best bet, or at least leaving closer to noon instead of like 10 or so, 10:30. That's a little too early. I rarely get orders before 10:30, and then I think 10:45 or so is usually about the time orders start rolling in. Um One thing I don't like is once you pick up an order, like once you accept like that you're gonna deliver something, say if it says you're gonna get like $8 or whatever for this Chipotle order or something, like once you accept it and start driving towards Chipotle or whatever, you can't like go in your earnings and cash out at the same time. You have to wait till you finish the order. You can't be like currently involved with doing an order and like go into the part of the app where you can cash out at the same time. That's one thing I don't like. Um, because sometimes they have these orders where it's like you have to pay out of pocket, and it's like I don't have it so that the orders go automatically to my pro card, obviously, because it's like a $1.99 or $2.99 to transfer the money out every time I want to transfer money out. So, and it's just an extra card that I'm like, I don't want to use another card. Like I have so many freaking little debit cards for like I have one for Venmo, I have one for PayPal, I have one for Chime, I have my regular, bank debit card. And every little account, like I have like an Onjuno account, I have um I don't remember what they're called. I have all these little accounts because I try them out because I like to talk about the apps. Um, so yeah, that's just kind of how that goes. But yeah, I don't really have any finance stuff to really talk about today too much. I feel like my mind isn't like fully organized around all that right now. But I do want to start reviewing those cards, and I think on the Game and Compute podcast, I'm pretty sure that's where I posted all the ones about like credit scores and stuff. Uh, so if you're interested in that, um, you can go over there and find those episodes. Uh, they're like deep back in there though. Like it was probably like over a year ago. I want to say like probably June or so of 2022. June of 2022 or so. It was about the same time that I moved back to LA. So yeah, June of 2022, like around that summer. Um, but yeah, guys. All right, I gotta go make some food to eat and get on with my morning.